I have lived by the ocean in Essex, Massachusetts for the entirety of my life. The sea is a central aspect to my identity, connecting me with the people I admire and the activities that I love doing. The following story illuminates the impact that sea level rise has had on my community. Living in a small coastal neighborhood, my social ecological environment has had an extensive battle with the changing climate. Warming ocean temperatures, coupled with rising sea level, has caused hypoxia and toxic algal blooms that poison local wildlife that is critical to the local economy. The fishing and clamming industry accounts for the majority of revenue produced in the town of Essex. During the periods of red tide, it is impossible for local fishermen and clammers to sustain their livelihood. Additionally, red tide dramatically affects the coastal marshlands, causing the roots to shrink and become more vulnerable to erosion. As marshland erodes, it exposes the coast to storms and flooding events, whose effects would otherwise be dampened by the ecological barrier created by the marsh. As sea levels rise, the social ecological system of my community is greatly affected. My home, as you can see in this map, is currently above water. At 0.5 degrees rise in temperature, the majority of my neighborhood would become inundated with water. If the global temperature continues to rise by 2 degrees Celsius, my childhood home will be underwater within the course of my lifetime. This past winter, my neighborhood experienced two monumental flooding events. On January 4th, a bomb cyclone hit areas along the East Coast. The streets surrounding my house on Canoma Point Road flooded with multiple feet of water, making the roads unpassable. Later this year, in March, a second bomb cyclone hit our coastal neighborhood, submerging cars, mailboxes, and crashing waves across my front porch. Preventative measures that were in place before the storm, such as seawalls and drainage systems, are currently outdated and unable to cope with the extent of flooding that my neighborhood has experienced in recent years. The vulnerability of my community to flooding has led to numerous actions being taken by the local government to incentivize homeowners to evacuate the area that is located within the 100-year floodplain. Recently, there has been local efforts to mitigate the effect that these storm surges have out in the daily lives of our residents. In 2012, the town of Essex allocated funds to raise the level of Main Street by 12 inches to prevent regular flood events that devastate local businesses. In addition, the town received a grant to construct a sturdy metal seawall that protects the infrastructure on Main Street from water damage. Additionally, non-governmental organizations such as the Trustees of the Reservation have stepped up to raise awareness and actively mitigate the effects of coastal erosion. The trustees are specifically concerned with the depleting marshland area as it is a vital aspect of the social ecological system, working as a barrier to protect shoreline erosion and biodiversity essential to the local economy. The eroding marshland results in the conversion of low marsh regions to non-vegetated tidal flats.
In Massachusetts, we're really fortunate to have a very dynamic coast, but also a very diverse coast. We have extensive miles of sandy beaches. We also have rocky coasts, incredible estuaries that are just completely rich with intertidal resources that can be very important, not only ecologically for our migrating shorebirds and various other wildlife, but also for recreation with fishing, and economically they really are very important for our shell fishing.
The coastline changes have been fairly dramatic, especially over the last 10 years. If you look at the south shore of Martha's Vineyard, we typically lose 5 to 7 feet of beach every single year.
My community has utilized three main strategies to combat the rising sea level. Primarily, updating infrastructure and renovating existing seawalls temporarily mitigates the effect of shoreline erosion. Second, multiple of my neighbors have picked up their homes and moved them elsewhere, as depicted in the image above. Finally, the concept of eco-engineering is effective in protecting coastlines from the impact of storm surges. In Bangladesh, mangrove trees soften the blow of waves on the shoreline, thus mitigating erosion and flooding. It is possible that similar tactics may be used in the future with the expansion of marshland in the social ecological system of my hometown.